Good morning, everybody. So today we're going to be doing a recall on a DeWalt DWS779 compound miter saw, sliding compound miter saw. So you may have read in the news or heard in the news that this saw was recalled. I think there was something like maybe 1.5 million saws recalled. There was this saw, the DWS780, and one other model. I think the Flex Volt. I don't remember exactly, but long story short, these saws have a defective rear blade guard. And this is something I don't think it was covered very well in the news, so I'm going to try to give you a little more details on what is actually going on. So the rear blade guard is this piece right here. Give you a better picture of it. So this whole piece right here. I don't know exactly what purpose it serves from a safety perspective, but supposedly this rear blade guard can disintegrate, drop into a spinning blade, and cause bodily injury. So they've decided to recall these. This part is actually being replaced with a metal part, which I have right here. I just came in yesterday. So as soon as I found out this saw was affected, I ordered the parts. DeWalt will send them to you with these instructions free of charge. They said it takes 2 weeks, but I got them in a couple days, so kudos to DeWalt there. So you may be wondering if your saw is affected. If your saw is newer and has a date code of, I believe, April of 2022 or later, the date code could be found on top of the motor right here. Mine has a date code of, I think it looks like 2020-11. I think it's the 11th week of 2020. So if your date code is before 2022-04, then your saw is affected most likely. I think the actual cutoff is 2019-04 to 2022-04. So you have to have a fairly new saw to not be affected. So most of them are going to be affected, I would say. So let's stop babbling. Let's tear into it. The first step, according to the instructions, is to remove the blade. I suspect that's purely for safety purposes because you're going to be working back behind the blade. But we'll follow suit. First thing you're going to want to do is lock your blade in place, but it looks like you're going to have to loosen this piece here first. I'm just using the wrench that comes with the saw. Whoops. I think you just have to loosen this piece. I think. It's been a little while since I've done this. Sorry, guys. Does this need to come out, or I just need to loosen it? And then we'll take it out. Oh, there we go. All right, so I loosened that bolt. That allows us to get to the blade nut. Now this is reverse threaded, so it's going to be righty loosey, lefty tighty. So I'm going to tighten it to loosen it. There we go. And there's a blade lock on the other side, a little button. I'll show you that in a moment. That'll hold the blade in position so that you can turn this nut without the blade spinning on you. I'm also going to take this opportunity to replace the blade because I'm going to be doing some trim work. I'm going to replace it with, I think it's an 80 tooth. Let me show you the blade lock. So the blade lock is this button right here, just on the other side of the saw. Okay, so we got our blade out of the way. Let's take out the old guard. So there's a screw on the right side. I'll show you that. I think they said this piece just comes right out. Looks like they just yanked it. I guess it doesn't really matter, it's going, right? I can pry it apart. but this is the supposedly defective piece. Come on, how does this thing come apart? Looks like they just yanked straight on it. The video. I still don't even know what this thing does. Seriously. Let's try separating it with a screwdriver. We're replacing it, right? It doesn't really matter if we break it. There we go. And you're going to need to do that because there's a screw on the back that you have to get out. So far, I don't see any obvious defects with this thing. I mean, this piece seems to be intact aside from my prying marks. There's a screw in the back here too. Can you guys see that? Probably not. Maybe this is a little bit better. Now, they deemed this defect to be so serious, they actually issued a stop use order on this saw. Ooh, and I think I might see the part of the problem. So right there, I don't know if you guys can see that. Look on that screw hole very carefully. There's a crack in that plastic. Right there. I don't know if that's part of the defect. I'm fairly certain I didn't cause that, because I wasn't prying on that. But you can see pretty clearly that is definitely cracked. Interesting. So here's the new piece. It's all metal. I don't feel any plastic on there. Now we got to reinstall it. Actually, you know what? I take it back. It looks like the frame is metal, but this piece is still plastic. I think. But yeah, this frame, this is definitely plastic. This is definitely metal. There's no question about that. I give you all new hardware, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to start the screw on the back. So I don't think this other piece is still used, right? This thing, I don't think you use that anymore. Yeah, it looks like it's all one assembly now. So that gets screwed in. Just screwing that in by hand. I'm going to start to screw on this side as well by hand. Using the provided Torx wrench and screwing in the screw on the right side of the saw. Now, the screw in the back, yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Let's see if I can use a shorter Torx bit. I think it's a T30. Will that fit behind there? Yeah, that'll work. Just take about 3 years. Won't bore you guys with this. I'm just going to walk that in. I'm not prying on this one and taking it apart because it's a brand new piece. I don't want to damage this. So I'm just going to use a little stumpy T30 Torx to tighten that up. Okay, 14 hours later, I got that screw in the back fully snug. It's best to leave both screws a little loose until they're both started, just to make sure that everything's aligned properly. Okay, everything's nice and snug. Nice and solid. Alright, that should be the hard part of the repair. There's only 2 screws that hold it on. I'll give you a little look of what the finished product looks like. Let's go freehanding. There's a scary thought. So that's what it looks like. There's a screw on the right. Right there. And the screw in the back down there. Now let's put our new blade in. As I mentioned, I'm going to be doing some trim work, so I'm upgrading the blade while we're doing all this. This is the blade I'm going to be installing. It's a DW3128 80 tooth. So I'm just going to slide our new blade into position. Carefully. Maybe. There we go. There we go. Okay. And remember, this screw is reverse threaded, so we turn it anti-clockwise or counterclockwise. Tighten it. Sorry about that glare. Dial the light down a little bit. Hopefully that's a bit softer. And again, we're going to use our blade lock on the right side of the saw, holding that, and we're going to tighten this. There we go. This repair is now complete. What is that noise? Looks like something's rubbing here. Yeah, if you look at the back of the saw, give some more light again. So we got some rubbing going on right here. Is that normal? All right, it seems to shut itself up. Let's make sure our blade just turns freely with no contact anywhere. I think we're good. All right. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Again, this is on a DWS779 DeWalt sliding compound miter saw. There are other saws affected, the DWS780, and I think, like I said, that FlexVolt one from date codes April, or not April, 04, which I think is week 4 of 2019, to week 4 of 2022. And again, the defect is in this rear blade guard. You can contact DeWalt. They'll give you a repair kit for free, so I suggest you do that. They'll tell you it takes 2 weeks, but mine showed up in a couple of days, so kudos to DeWalt there. Anyway, hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please subscribe, stay safe, and thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.